Hey, so you messaged me this morning and asking about, I think it was 2264, talking about the different sheets and just kind of how to split up the size of them. So I'll go over this one with you, and I guess it's good to keep in mind when you're designing it how big it's going to be, because you can kind of do it from the beginning, and I'll show you what I mean by that right now. So basically, I like to make them different colors, like just so that I could see what is where, and obviously, okay. So whoa. So I was just holding Control Z. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with all this. So I'll tell you what. We're just gonna start from scratch here. And it's 60 by 44. So, excuse me. We're just going to do a 64 by 48 box around it. We'll center everything. Change the color on this one. Boom. Okay. And then what I like to do, it's kind of helpful, is I just make the artboard 47. So that's 47 by 35. And that kind of makes it, like, it gives me a little bit of a reference for like what my maximum size is. So like, see, I could put the bull over it. It kind of fits on there. So that's kind of what the mindset that I'm going to be approaching this from is, essentially what's going to be easiest for the customer to put together. So if we're chopping the bull in half, that doesn't really make a lot of sense for the customer. The other thing that we can do is where we're gonna cut it off, and you can see this is kind of, the design kind of is consistent around the whole logo. So like, you put bridges in, which are needed, but what we can actually do is incorporate the bridges with where the sheet's gonna end, and that'll be kind of helpful in just like making bridges that are doing two things. They're keeping the stencil together, and they're keeping the sheet like a good shape, I guess, if that makes sense. It might not make sense, but I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So you know how like we do 2 inches from here to here typically? Well, I'll do the same thing over here, and I'm just going to do a 4 inch by, and the second dimension doesn't matter. We'll just call it 10, and I always like to do different colors so I could see what's what. So this right here is essentially where we're going to do our bridge, and I'll show you why in a sec, but I'm also going to do one, let's see, right here at the bottom of the bowl. So I'm going to take these, and I'm just going to divide them out of there. Boom, boom, boom. Now you can kind of see the bull is its own little piece. It's actually going to fit right there on the sheet. So what we can do is start to cut off where that sheet's gonna be. So we're going to go right around the bull. And you don't need to worry about making it, exactly 2 inches like we usually have. It doesn't really matter. That's just kind of a standard that we use. But then, this stencil is crazy. So we really just want to design something that the customer can use. And once they tape it together, they're going to be able to use it. So it's not going to be a big deal. This apostrophe is kind of weird. Give it a little bit of space. Oh, this was go right there. And then you just want to make sure that all these lines are overlapping, because I'm going to use this divide command, or was it divide? Yeah, divide. So it won't cut them if they're not overlapping. So like these ones, that one, this one, and we should be good. So let me group all this back together, and then we're going to take this. We're going to select everything else. So you can see our lines are selected here. Divide, ungroup, and then it leaves like these little extra lines in there. If you just hit the merge, same with on this one, merge. So now, essentially what we have is a sheet that's 46. So that fits in that 48, area, and 28. So that fits this way. So now we have this sheet and this sheet. So essentially, so this is why I kind of like keeping track of it with colors. Boom. So there's our sheet. That's our first sheet that's going to fit. And you can see the bridging. It's kind of cool. It just is incorporated straight into the logo once it's put together, and it's holding the edge of this, so like it keeps its form. So our next thing, and so this is kind of how I design these. Just like I just slide it around and see like what's going to be a good piece. What's going to be a piece that fits, that makes sense. This logo kind of sucks, to be honest with you, because we're going to have to chop something in half. Like the bowl getting it and being in one piece is good. That's and that's why like the one you designed the other day, that was crazy. That was like all the mountains and words and stuff. There was no good place to cut that, and sometimes that's just how it happens. This one's not too bad because it's words, but let me think here. And usually it takes me a little while to like logic out what the second sheet is going to be if it's something complicated. So bear with me while I see what's going to work. And you know what? I think I would prefer to keep, it looks like we can keep all this together, and I think that would be the ideal scenario for everybody. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to cut it right here. And then we should be able to get that part in one piece. So we're going to cut it. And the other thing I do with these ones, like, it's 2 inches from there to there, but like not from here to there or here to here. So I always just kind of like do something like this and just chop it off. So it doesn't necessarily save. I think it saves a little bit of material. It just is, kind of unnecessary to have all that extra stuff in there. So. And then sometimes that can actually help you fit things on a sheet that you wouldn't have been able to fit otherwise. So just a little bit of my advice there. It's not, super necessary, but okay. So this is going to be a weird little piece. Go ahead and connect these back real quick. feel like I should have some music or something playing so you can't just hear me breathing and clicking and typing. But hey, it's all good. Okay. We'll make this one a little smaller of a bridge just because there's already a big fat one right there, and I don't want them to get too, you know. And I think something too that, and I haven't done a great job of showing you this kind of thing, but like on these bigger ones, it's actually pretty important to have like a little bit more bridges. So like this part has two. I think like this part, and I know you don't see it, you don't see them getting made, so like you don't know what ends up looking like really flimsy and what doesn't, but like something like this, actually just connect it and just give it a little bit more like a shape, then it actually makes kind of a big difference, because just the ability to connect something where it wasn't going to be connected before, because that piece of plastic that I just connected, that was going to be hanging here, so what is that, a few inches? That was just going to be dangling off, whereas now it's connected, so it gives it like a little bit more strength. And I think, like, especially with logos like this, you can do something where the customer probably isn't really even going to notice, but that makes a big difference to us when we ship it, and it makes like the product just a little bit more sturdy, a little bit better. So like now those areas are connected. They're going to be, especially like this bullhead, that's important for it to connect, because if you think about picking this up, that whole part would have been flopping down, whereas now it's locked in right there, which will be good. So where was I? Oh yeah, small bridge right here. So we'll do this one 2 inches wide. Center on that line. So now we're going to have this little extra piece. Which I'm going to cut with a line. And then let's just get that out of the way. Oh yeah, and we need to cut it over here too. And up here. Oh, what did I do? So that needs to extend. There we go. Okay. So, oh, I guess I needed one more. And it was going to be right here. Feels weird recording these because it feels like I'm just talking to myself. And that was a mistake, actually. Now that I see what I just did. Because this is why I changed the colors. I get really, really confused. Okay, but then, okay. I'm looking at like a different line. Take this out of here. Okay. This, still too big. That's supposed to cut right here. Gotcha. Gotcha. And that's going to be, that looks good enough. Okay. Then what's the size of this? 35 by 17. Ah, it fits. So let's just make that one piece. So this is 4-piece stencil. Pink, orange, purple, and green. That's an awkward little piece, but I don't see a solution for that because from there to there is 50. Ugh. Well, I'll tell you what. So basically, I have instructed you to do 48 as the maximum because our sheets that we cut are 49 inches. So they're already 49 inches wide. We just pull them from here to there, so 36 inches, and then we cut them off. And that's what we put on the laser cutter. But we could actually, if we pull the sheet the other way, it's going to be 49 inches this way. And then we can pull it all the way to 52 because our cutting surface is actually 55 inches. So in this case, so I try to avoid doing that and totally ignore this part if it's confusing. Like, don't even worry about it. I try to use this in like very rare circumstances because it's like, where is this one? 226. There it is. I try to use it in rare circumstances because it's kind of a pain in the ass to cut a different sheet size than we normally cut, right? But I'm going to do it in this case because I really don't like that extra piece, I think. And the fact that if you want, we could send it to the customer again. It's up to you though. But yeah, so anyways, that's me saying that like this size, like 35 by 55 is actually our max. But 49 or 48 really is what we want to achieve just because it's easier for us, if that makes sense. So if you have to make a sheet this size, you are absolutely welcome to do that. Again, if that was a confusing thing that I just said, ask me for clarification or just don't worry about it. And I'm going to do one last thing because I think that what am I doing here? There we go. Alright, that looks right. This looks weird now because that's 2 inches on each, that's 2 inches on each, and that's just one. So I'm going to just make it the same as the others. Get it so it doesn't touch this A right here. Cool. So now we have the stencil that's a little bit easier to manage, and yeah, I mean that should be the way we do it. I mean, it's for the customer too. It doesn't chop through the logo. It kind of goes around it. It makes sense. They can tape it right there. There's straight lines. So yeah.